You got Believers. Bowie. Oh, where'd that come from? Bowie, DJ. That's the new Tony Visconti 2017 mix, which I like a lot. Lodger was always a weirdly mixed album. A better album than some people give it credit for. I think it's a little bit kind of lost in the mix, but it's got some great songs on it. You know, so I'm late today. I had to do some packing for the Boston thing for PAX. I was also at the Bowie exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum, and I want to tell you guys about that real quick. Before we go into Bloodborne, into the darkness, and then into Smash, when we get some Smash, I'd like to show you some images of the Bowie thing. So it was an exhibit. By the way, you were not allowed to take pictures inside of the place. So these are from bedfordbowery.com. But it's basically the experience I had. It was amazing. It was like walking through someone's life. And the exhibit in and of itself was kind of done in a weird kind of Bowie-esque way. And they had the stuff that he wore. They had drawings. They had lyric sheets, props, like videos with like, so you wore headphones as you walked through it. And it was kind of amazing, actually, like using a Bluetooth connection. When you got to a certain part of the room, you would hear either different music from the period or Bowie narrating, like through interviews or other people talking. And it was all positional. So based on where you were in the exhibit, the headphones would give you exactly what you needed to hear at that time, which was really trippy, for lack of a better word. Technology is cool. It worked actually really well, too. A couple times it kind of, you know, you would walk to the left, like you would turn to the left and then you'd hear one thing. Then you turn to the right, you hear another thing. So it was a little, at times you had to be careful not to step too far to the left. But anyway, yeah, I'll show you a couple pictures of some stuff. Is this Bloodborne armor? I believe it is. And yeah, I was at the Brooklyn Museum, and you had to like kind of pay and go in at a certain time, but it was great, and you know, I loved it. I was like blown away by some of this stuff. The thing on the right is what he wore for the Thin White Duke during the Station to Station tour. Like he wore that, so that was just there. Crazy. On the right there is from Scary Monsters, which was, I think, Ashes to Ashes video, perhaps. Yeah, so that was all there. Again, lyrics, video, like they had one big room where they just played footage of like his concerts, and it was kind of cool because people were just gathered watching old Bowie videos. And the sound was great. There were tons of costumes throughout the whole thing, and people were really like into it. That's the room I'm talking about. And when I was there earlier, again, these aren't my photos, totally crowded, packed. Here's the Ziggy Stardust. This is the outfit he wore in some of the live performances. And, you know, while that was happening, they had this cool display of the video, and as you walked near it, your headphones, you'd hear Starman. Fucking awesome exhibit, and like comprehensive as fuck. This wasn't a part of my exhibit. I think this was from a different showing of this. This is like a traveling exhibit that went to a couple of different places, but I thought this was cool, and it has some of the outfits that I saw. So they just had these outfits on display that were in, you know, the museum. It was incredible. Crowded as fuck, by the way. Here's another part. This was from today. You can see the Earthling outfit, more Ziggy stuff up top. Station, Ashes to Ashes, Scary Monsters, and then that display in the front is like lyrics, concept art, all that stuff. Crazy amounts of stuff. This is from Labyrinth. That is Jareth, the Goblin King's, like, orb, and the writing crop. Is that what it's called? Or it's a wand? And to the right, that's Pontius Pilate's boots from The Last Temptation of Christ, because he played Pontius Pilate in that movie, so they had that. Mental. And what else? And just, again, like some kind of, like there's some drawings, and he did art. He did like paintings. I'll show you just a couple paintings that were on display. And the one on the left there is Iggy Pop. So, and then the one on the right is something he did, I think in Berlin. But yeah, like they had all the information and all the sights and sounds, and it was absolutely incredible. I got a little emotional at times, but mostly it was just fun and great. And my buddy Tyler and I walked through this thing 2.5 hours, I think we did, maybe 2 hours, and it felt like 5 minutes. So this was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. And Yeah. Also, one thing they didn't have, or one thing they did have, was David Bowie's Coke Spoon. Man Who Fell to Earth. Well, they started doing a presentation of it. It was like a live accompaniment. We watched a chunk of it, but it was too weird. And anyway, they had a display of Man Who Fell to Earth, and they had plenty of props from the movie and the costume. So they had that. But yeah, literally, I'm gonna Google this. This is gonna mess up my Google. Give me a second. We'll get started. People were sneaking pictures, and yeah, here you go. This was on display. He carried this around in the early 70s before he kicked the habit, which he always said in interviews that was like a fucking dark, awful time for him, and cocaine was just making him worse and worse and worse. But there's the spoon. It's on display at this fucking exhibit for some unknown reason. And they had his keys from when he lived in Berlin, and like a diaper from a movie. Not a movie, from when he played the Elephant Man. Anyway, just to finish up my thoughts on this thing, just because it was such a crazy and amazing experience for me, and I know some of you just want to get to the video games. Have patience, my friends. We will get to those in just a moment. This was cool as fuck, and I loved every minute of it. It was very comprehensive, respectful, interesting. The music was great, and a lot of Bowie fans were there, and it was like a really like good energy thing. And the museum itself was cool, but it closed too early for us to explore the rest of it, sadly. But if you're in the New York City area or the tri-state area and you're a big Bowie fan, go to this fucking thing. It's in the Brooklyn Museum. I can't recommend it enough. Did anyone recognize you there? No. It's rare. That's a rare occurrence. That's like once every couple months, but it's not. And thank God it's not too often. But it's nice when it happens. But however, it was a great time, and I loved checking it out. And they showed some, his photographic career, his movie career, his music career, his art. It was great. Go check it out.